So after the petals have all dried and set, I've left them overnight, it's time to paint the patterns on them. We'll start with the 3 pattern one. And for this one, the outside leaves, it's a little bit of pink colouring. So I use some clear varnish with some mica powder and a little bit of paint. And you just want to touch the edges just to create a nice pink edge tinge to the edge of the leaves. This adds to the effect. And a little in the middle. I tend to find that the varnish strengthens the petal as well, which can be useful when you start manipulating them. So that's the first step, creating a little bit of a pink hue around the edge of the petal. We move to the 2 and do the same again. This one we just do a little bit more around the edge. And again, a little bit more, a little bit in the middle, around the edges to the end. That's the 2, and then finally the last one. Just a little bit on the edge of this one. Subtle little bit of pink. Dab in the middle. So that's the step to take for those ones. We put that brush to the side and we get a smaller brush where we can then paint the veins in of the patterning. So again, we'll start with the 3. Nice thin paint. Same paint, and this time you're just dragging down, creating some vein shapes. And then just some feathering on the edges. This intensifies. There we go. And we'll now change the colour to a slightly darker pink to do the rest of the 2 inside petals and then the centre 3. It just intensifies the pink a little bit more. Okay, we've mixed up a little bit of acrylic paint and a little bit of extender just to thin it down. Now we're going to paint the veins inside of each of these petals. Now for the centre, go up from the centre and just create a few lines into that acrylic. Just like that. And again with the 2 petals, into that acrylic, and this one it's some bolder lines. Coming out from the centre, round to follow the shape of the petals. And we just do some feathering on the edges. To create that sort of an effect. Nice thin brush and create those little veins. To create that sort of patterning. And then the 3 leaf, again same sort of mechanism, just to intensify some of those final lines. To create that sort of an effect. And easiest thing, without having to clean the brush, you just want to dab a little bit of orange into the centre of each of these flowers. So again, I'm using a little bit of acrylic paint just to add that little bit of an effect. So on my palette, a little bit of orange, and then to the centre of each of these flowers, that little tiny little bit of orange. Just on the edges. To create that sort of an effect. Again for the 3. Just on the edges. And then finally the centre. We intensify the centre with the orange on this one. Just bleed up a little bit, but not too much, to create that sort of an effect. So that's the 3 petals, the 3 wide petals all painted up. We now need to let those dry. So once the petals have all dried from the painting, it starts to assemble the flower head to create the nice little image of the orchid. So taking the centerpiece, we attach it to the 2 pieces with a little bit of floristry wire, floristry tape. Squeeze the wires together to create 2 large petals and the 3 that sit in the middle. And then because we created the 3 leaf with a nice little circle in the middle, we've created a little hole in the centre, and this large piece with these 2 pieces of wire together can now sit snugly through that hole, and it will sit pleasantly into the centre to create your orchid. Now you squeeze the wires together twisting round so they stay in shape. Then with a little bit of floristry tape, fasten those together. And then final little repositioning, so your orchid is positioned nicely. 2 leaves, the outer leaves, the petals. To create your nice little shaped orchid. Once you've assembled enough of those, you can then assemble the full orchid display onto a stem. And I'll show you that in the next video.